Before measuring voltage drop in the circuits, check the cranking voltage. To do this, disconnect the primary lead to the coil, or disconnect the fuel injector to prevent the car from starting. Then, place the leads of the voltmeter between the positive and negative terminals of the battery while the engine is cranking. The voltmeter should not drop below approximately 10 volts during this test. If it does fall below 10 volts, the battery is discharged, or there's a short within the cranking motor. If voltage remains above 10 volts, the voltage drops of the circuit components should be checked. To check for voltage drop in the battery ground side cable, connect the negative lead of the voltmeter to the negative battery terminal and the positive lead to the case of the cranking motor. The meter should read 0 volts. While the meter is still attached, crank the engine and observe the meter. Generally, the meter should not show more than a 0.2 of a volt drop. Many manufacturers allow up to a 0.5 of a volt drop on each part of the circuit. Voltage drops higher than this are an indication of loose or defective cables. Dirt between the cable and the connector, a loose or dirty connection between the motor and the engine block, or a cable of too small a gauge. To measure voltage drop on the positive side of the circuit, place the positive lead of the meter on the positive terminal of the battery and the negative lead of the meter on the B or battery terminal of the cranking motor. Now crank the engine. Again, no more than 0.2 of a volt should be dropped in the circuit. Generally, the longer the cable, the higher the voltage drop. The cables should be inspected to see if they have been replaced with ones that are too long or of too light a gauge. Now let's try the test on the control circuit. For this test, the positive lead of the voltmeter should be placed on the B terminal and the negative lead of the meter on the M terminal of the starter motor. When the engine cranks, the meter will measure the drop across the solenoid switch. This is generally less than 0.2 of a volt. If the voltmeter shows battery voltage, it is a good indication that the switch is open.